Let me start off by saying that I was not in the least expecting to make another Amphibia video before the release of True Colors. In case you don't know, or in case you're watching this in the future, at a time when the finale has been released, and this unfortunate series of circumstances is nothing more but a cheap punchline, allow me to explain. Don't worry, we are going to talk about Marcy and what is going to happen to her most likely in the season finale, but before that I want to lay some context regarding the future of this show as a whole. 2 months ago, when the hiatus finally was about to break, Disney released the entire slate, March, April, all the way to May 1st, for Season 2B, the second half of Season 2. All the dates were there for all the episodes, including the season finale, the much-anticipated True Colors. All those other episodes aired like they were supposed to. This last one, the one we've all been waiting for, has not. At 4:33 p.m. Eastern Time, a mere 7.5 hours before the episode was going to be released at midnight, Disney TVA, the account for Disney's television animation programs, sent off a tweet saying that True Colors had been postponed. Why? Who knows? The excuse they had was scheduling difficulties, although what exactly that means, no one is particularly sure. I have not heard any completely believable explanations. The most common and compelling one I've heard is that it's related to a slate of Halloween-related material Disney released on May the 1st. And they didn't want Amphibia to interfere with that, so they shuffled it out of its release date. Why this is something they announced last minute, I have no idea. You'd think a mega corporation like that would have spotted that problem and resolved it weeks, if not months ago. No. Matt Brawley, the show's creator, retweeted Disney TVA's statement and then wrote a short tweet in response that was kind of awkwardly worded and a bit strange to my eyes, but it confirmed that, yes, True Colors was not going to air as expected. Considering how heavily he was promoting the show just the day before, it's reasonable to assume that he was caught off guard by this sudden switch as much as we were. And that is why you are watching this video instead of the much-hyped Season 2 finale of Amphibia. Before we proceed, I will say that although the delay is annoying, I would not be nearly as peeved as I am, except for two factors. Number one, how close to the expected airing date the delay was announced. And number two, how they did not give any reason for why the delay was happening, and they did not give an expected new air date for True Colors. This is unprofessional and insipid. It is an insult to not just us the fans, but more importantly to the brilliantly talented people who worked on this show. If they had announced a few weeks before that the season finale was going to be delayed for a week or two, then I would have let out an exasperated sigh, but I otherwise would not have thought about it. No one really would have cared, and it certainly would not have caused the firestorm it has caused. Disney could have avoided this backlash very easily, but they didn't. There are two explanations for why one of the world's most powerful corporations could make such an error. The first is incompetence, the second is malice. The conspiratorial part of me wants to say it's malice, but it's probably not. Occam's razor suggests that it's just pure, staggering incompetence. Back to Marcy. I've argued why she is going to betray Anne. Throughout the last few episodes, she has indeed expressed quite a bit of hesitation regarding the idea of the three of them returning to home. And this is consistent with the person we have known since her introduction during Marcy at the Gates. Amphibia has treated her much better than Earth has. No one could reasonably deny that. Back on Earth, she was a clumsy, awkward nerd. Anne described her as the clumsiest person alive, which is not exactly the nicest comment, but it is accurate to the flashbacks we've seen of Marcy. Most likely, Marcy would not be alive if it weren't for Anne constantly stepping in and helping her out. Amphibia Marcy is a different person. As she phrases it, she's leveled up. She's not clumsy, she's quite competent and thoughtful. She still is very much a dork, but she can take care of herself and she can take care of others, and she's very good at accomplishing missions she's given. Now, the easy explanation would be to say that this is just because of her gem power, but considering that her competence persists even after she loses her gem power, it's fair to say that it's more than that. This is just the person she's become here in this new world, freed from the constraints that bothered her back on Earth. She's flourished. Admittedly, she is not really matured in the way that Anne and especially Sasha have. They have all had their perceptions about themselves and their relationships completely undermined, and they've had to adjust to that, and they've done so quite well, in my opinion. Even if Sasha still has a bit of a ways to go. Marcy has not had her assumptions challenged like that. Her blossoming has more come as a result of her finally getting to live in the kind of world she was always yearning to escape to when she was back on Earth. Her clumsiness is not an innate characteristic. She was clumsy because she was always focused on her game. She was always focused on something outside her immediate reality because these games interested her more than whatever was going on directly outside her. But in Amphibia, that's no longer the case. She gets to live this bold, brave life as a fearless adventurer. She's in a world of magic and mystery. She doesn't need her games anymore, so she stops focusing on that kind of stuff and starts engaging with the world. She's awake. She's fully alive in this world. And because of that heightened awareness of her environment, she's not clumsy anymore. She's very much engaged with everything she's doing. Her competence has emerged as a result of her, not as a result of the gem she has. And this competence, this commitment to excellence in this world, is what has made her such a valued citizen of Newtopia. And she very much values her position in Newtopia because it's a position she could not have imagined having back on Earth. She's actually respected in this world. Why would she want to leave behind this world then and return to a world where her image, even in the minds of her friends, is that of an incompetent dork who can hardly take care of herself and who needs her friends right there protecting her at all times? I'm sure she wants to stay in this world. Why wouldn't she? And I'm sure she wants her friends to stay in it with her. This does not make her a villain, but it does mean that her goals probably diverge somewhat from those of Anne and Sasha. It's not that she doesn't trust them to make the decision that she thinks is right, it's just that she honestly believes their lives would be better in Amphibia. And perhaps she's right about that. Anne, in particular, has expressed multiple times in the last few episodes about how she's doing better here than she was back on Earth. Marcy also seems to have been quite low on the totem pole of the friend group. She doesn't seem to be the kind of person who expressed a lot of very strong opinions. And while Anne and Sasha liked her quite a bit, I have my doubts that they really respected her, or that they would listen to her if she tried to convince them to stay. It's not like she's this great orator. She's not Cicero. From what we see of their dynamic, Marcy is much more quiet and reserved when she's around her friends than when she's just by herself or when she's just with Anne. Her friends speak with each other a lot more than they speak with her. Perhaps she's right that everyone's lives would be better in Amphibia, and perhaps she's right that the others don't listen to her as much as they should, so if she wants to make them stay, she'll have to take action instead of trying to use words. That said, that does not give her the right to force them to stay in Amphibia against their will. It doesn't give her the right to determine their fate. It's complicated, and there are no easy answers to this, and I like that. It's a major reason why I think this season is such a significant step up from Season 1. The Season 1 finale reunion showed a lot of promise. It's probably my favorite episode of the show. Certainly my favorite up to that point. And Season 2B has finally delivered on that promise. So how will this betrayal happen exactly? The lover of spectacle and glamour and opera in me wants Marcy to take the box, pretend to open it up to have them return home, and then close it and destroy it in front of Anne and Sasha, thus preventing them from returning home. This, however, is not who Marcy is. She's not Sasha, this lover of id-driven spectacle. Quite the opposite. She's reserved and she's conflict-averse. Even in Amphibia, she has not entirely shed the husk of the unsociable, awkward, bashful girl that she was back on Earth. A more likely scenario than the one I just described would be one in which Marcy insists on taking the box to Andreas herself, and the others are okay with that, and she does, and he takes it and keeps it for himself, and he and Marcy are both pretty aware that this is what he's going to do, although Marcy has no idea what exactly he's going to do with the box. And then Marcy will return and kind of tell a little lie to Anne and Sasha that Andreas is just going to hold on to the box for a little bit longer, and then time will pass, and Anne and Sasha will grow suspicious. Marcy will panic, and they will infer that she's been hiding part of the truth from them. A supposition which Andreas will confirm once he takes the box and uses it for his own evil purposes. At this point, Marcy will be repentant. She will realize what she's done, and she will realize she was in the wrong, but by then it will be too late. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Amphibia is genuinely a great show. I'm ready to call it that now. I wasn't before, but the show's improved a lot. I really like where it's going. I'll continue to make a few more videos about it and True Colors, and the sooner True Colors airs, the better. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. Will be coming soon. Promise you all that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.